Okay, grab a seat and we'll start. My name's Andrew Quick. I'm the chair of Film and Television. We used to call it Cinema and Television. Now we're Film and Television. You're going to hear from Sean Gaffney, briefly from David Garcia, and from Adam Hardy, who's been to Los Angeles this summer, and from Sarah, who's going to talk about 24-hour, 48-hour film festivals. We did very well. We became second in the Norfolk Film Festival. This little program, which we're going to place on the net, is primarily for the distance students. This Sunday, I rang up 78 people. Now, a lot of them were voicemail, but I had some really good conversations. And I intend to use this method of communication, not streaming video, because that's more complicated, but just there will be a report from Cinema Television every 8 weeks, reminding you of upcoming deadlines, reminding you what's happening. So let's start. And the first slide is, in fact, a big welcome to all our Master of Arts MA students. We've got a lot this semester. I was amazed how many there are, and that's really good. Most of you are doing the producing track. Some of you are doing the writing track. And I think you will find that in the next year, and it's fairly intensive, you'll have a really good grasp of what's happening in making film and video, particularly the ones who are doing the producing. The writing students will have quite a lot of experience in writing. It's just 1 year, and it's fairly intensive. Now, there is nothing to stop you taking the courses, the 30 hours, at a slower pace than just 12 months. You can stretch it to 2 years if you want to. We publish the rotation. Most classes are offered just once in the year, but some are sometimes offered twice. Also, to students who haven't yet registered, we can start our MA program in August, in October, in January, in March, and in May. I don't think there's going to be a second summer start. So you can start whenever you like and tailor it to what you want. The vast majority of students who've joined us this year, and welcome to you all, and I hope to get to talk to you all soon, are MA students. So what about the Master of Fine Arts? That's a 2-year, 44-hour course. And the difference there is there's a good deal more flexibility in the classes you actually take. Now, if you want to transfer, the producing class is very open to you. You do not have to have a show reel. You do not have to have a completed play, as you do for the other two concentrations in MFA. If you've organized a wedding, if you've organized something at your church, if you've shown that you have producing skills, we welcome you to the MFA in producing if that's what you would like to do. I was talking to a Nigerian student this morning. She's just finished her strategic communication course, but what she really wants to do is organize a whole pattern of educational programs for Nigeria in the Igbo language and probably in Yoruba and other languages as well. For her, the MA in screenwriting is probably exactly what she wants. Another year in which she practices writing visually for communicating to children. She needs a little bit more than she got out of strategic communication. But she probably doesn't want to do a full MFA. Some of you will, and if you do, you have the advantage of being qualified to teach in any university across the United States and elsewhere in the world, because the Master of Fine Arts is a terminal degree. A lot of people are fascinated, you get some pizza, are fascinated by the MA in directing. We have a lot of people who are interested in that. You can't get into that course until you give us a show reel. So how do you get a show reel if you've never done any film or television before? It's quite easy. You take the MA in production, and then in the spring you will do the Introduction to Directing course. I hope you do brilliantly. You do several short films. You send us your little show reel, and we say, he or she is ready to transfer into the MFA, if that's what they want to do. But there's no pressure on that, but it's a possibility. I think that some people who dream of Steven Spielberg's skill may feel that that's a great way to go. I've been in the industry as a writer, how I started, then a director, and then a producer. You know, producing is almost the most fun. It lasts much longer. The very first day of production, the producer's employed. The director may only be employed for the actual time when you shoot it on location. He's there at the beginning, he or she are there at the beginning, the middle, and the end. So they actually get to supervise the post-production stage. Consider the producing role. It's a great way to go. In the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, which is different from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, the awards go to the producers for television, not the directors. It's the producers that are there, and when we send our films in, for most of the film festivals, we quote the name of the director. But for the Academy of Television Arts, we quote the name of the producer. So that's a significant difference, and we can talk individually about that. Two upcoming deadlines that I need to remind you about. The first is that if you wanted to take part, I know my aesthetics class starts on October the 26th, you need to register for the second class now, if the second semester part of the full semester. And all our classes are now mostly 8 weeks, so that it's fall 1, fall 2, spring 1, spring 2, summer 1, summer 2. Summer was a little spotty this summer. It'll be better next summer because there'll be more classes going there. And we shall have 2 new professors by then. Obviously, Stephanie is your primary advisor, but we professors also understand about it. Now I'm going to hand it over to Sean Gaffney, who's going to tell you about screenwriting.
Did you mean to talk about the portfolio deadline too, then?
I'll let you do that.
Oh, okay, I'll talk about that then. What am I talking about? Okay, so I'll let me handle that part first. I'm going to knock that over if I leave it there. And then it'll be televised. People will be watching all over the world, me knocking the Coke. This meeting was brought to you by Coca-Cola, our official sponsor of Regent University. For portfolios, so here's the deal. If you're an MFA student and you're hoping to graduate in May, you should already have started on your portfolio. The portfolio process for all 3 of the MFA degrees really is a 3-semester process. So you should have been talking to somebody in the summer. So if you haven't been talking to somebody and you're feeling a little panicked right now, call right away, figure out what's going on. It may need to be a summer graduation for you, but don't wait. Don't think, oh well, I'm gonna sign up for the portfolio in the spring, so that's when I'll start talking to somebody about it. Then you're suddenly a year and a half behind. So the MFA portfolio, start early. For the MA for screenwriting, if you in the MA and you want to go into the MFA, the application process to shift is very easy. Getting in isn't necessarily very easy. To apply, all you have to do is contact me, contact Stephanie, your advisor, and let us know you want to move from the MA into the MFA. And then Stephanie will help collect the necessary materials. We already have your essays. We already have everything else that we need. The only thing that we're going to need is we're going to need to look at a full-length completed script. So it needs to either be a feature-length movie script or a completed teleplay. It can either be a spec script or a pilot script, or a completed full-length stage play. And that is what the transfer will be based on. So I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't really have one yet. Can I transfer in and then write one? No, that's our prerequisite. That's the distinguisher between the MA and the MFA. Cool. Any questions on any of that?
And we've got another slide, I think.
Oh.
Which is about the Hollywood.
Oh, well then I'll stay up here.
Right.
So the Hollywood experience. How many of you know what the Hollywood experience is already? Okay. How many of you watching online know? Okay. Good to know. So yeah, in May we take 2 weeks. We go out to Hollywood. It is primarily writer focused. It's open to directors and producers as well. And there's several of you who have been to the Hollywood experience. We basically talked to about 30 different working professionals. Most of them are Christians who are working in the industry, either in television or in film in Hollywood, and we talk about their experiences. We talk about craft. We talk about the business, and we talk about the blending of your spiritual self in that world and in that environment. It's an exciting, fun little program. The cost on it, actually, I have notes, which I should refer to. Actually, what I should refer to is I'm going to show you a little video.
I believe it's vital.
I believe it's essential.
God put us here for reasons.
It's my responsibility.
It's such a privilege to be here. I'm super thrilled to be a small part of whatever the next generation of writers is going to be.
You know, the students here at Regent are actually trying to learn it.
The watcher turns his gaze on beauty. Through the dark she sees a terrible visage, a twisted animalistic.
This is my first time in LA and I needed to learn the town if I'm going to be a TV writer.
As a potential TV writer, I wanted to come out and learn more about the TV process, about the networks, about what it's like to be on a lot and work in a writer's room.
Anybody in any aspect of film or television should really just take this, especially at Regent. It's an awesome opportunity.
There's about 30-some who we have met out here and who have spoken and spoken into us. And it's been fantastic to learn these people, to learn the town, and to learn just a little bit more about what I want to do with my life.
I loved hearing from all of the speakers about their journeys coming here to see how they made it here, what they're doing. Making those connections was really fabulous, and I'm excited to see where God leads me from this.
I believe it's vital for us to play a role in teaching the next generation of artists what truth, beauty, and redemption is, how it fits in the story.
And so if we can take what we know or what we have and pour it into young people, we can change the world.
And we want them to be equipped and either follow the same path we followed or not make the same mistakes that we made.
They're going to be, just like when I was a student at Regent, I didn't know what I was doing, but I learned from the people who've gone ahead. And so I'm trying to pass that back down.
There are very few Christians in the industry, and so I think I should definitely try to help, let, Christian people who are coming out of film school, try to help them out and know what to expect and how to succeed.
Because what Regent is doing with building bridges to LA, to Hollywood, to stretch toward us, then all of us that have been working here in the industry for so long, we know that this next generation is being grown. So to sow into that generation, to plant seeds and to know that God is moving, it's one of the most important and significant things that I can give my time to, and I'm just so privileged to be here.
I would highly recommend the Hollywood Experience to anybody who is even considering at any point going out to LA.
It's really important for you to come out here and actually see the place. Not just have the theoretical knowledge of what LA is like, but actually have the practical, live knowledge.
The reason I do it is because I love sharing with people that are just starting out, because that's all I wanted when I was starting out. Just wanted somebody to take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour to tell me how this weird system works. And it always works differently for everybody. But I find it to be refreshing for me as well as for the student. So I just love doing it. I do it every year, and I would recommend the Hollywood Experience for you.
So we need you to sign up. If it's going to happen this in 2016, we need serious indication that you'd like to come.
Yeah, so the thing is, so the cost on it, around $5,000. That's including tuition. The fee is about $1,700, and we don't know exactly what it's going to be yet. Margie's trying to find ways to lower it for you all. Your meals cost is you're going to spend about $150 out of pocket, and transportation's out of pocket. The fee takes care of like a handful of the meals and the lodging for while you're there. Now here's the deal: is that it is a little bit expensive for people to try to scrape together for the summer. We don't always have a full class. And Regent right now is trying to be very penny wise. So what they're coming to me saying is, well, should you be offering it every year if you're not making a full class, or should it go to every other year? So whether we offer it this year is going to depend in part on what happens within the next week. If those of you who are interested in going, and a lot of online students, this is a great way for them to be in class because it's just a 2-week commitment. Email me. Just email and say, I'm seriously considering it. It's not a commitment on your part, but if we know that a lot of people are seriously considering it, we'll move forward for this year. If it doesn't seem like we've got a groundswell, then we may postpone it and do it the next spring instead. If we do it this year, the dates are going to be May 11th through the 26th. And you can take it for credit as either a topics in script and screenwriting or as writing the short film, which I know for a lot of the producers and directors, they've been able to use that to sub as one of their writing requirements for their degree. All right, any questions on the Hollywood experience? Yes, Michelle. Yes, it's open to alumni. We're saying recent alumni, but anybody who's graduated in the past couple of years. Michelle's gone twice. We don't know yet, but it's going to be in the same ballpark, around 17-ish, up or down from there.
So now's the chance after this, after when we get back to more pizza, for you to talk to Sean about individual details. Now, somebody who's here who's part of our triumvirate is David Garcia. And I want David to tell you something quite exciting. The fall film will be made in the film studio. And I'm going to ask him just to say a few words about the fact that for anybody making projects, you can book the film stage for yourself. What's the advantage of a studio? I started in Ealing Studios a long time ago. It's soundproof. It's got lights that you can adjust. It's air conditioned so you don't die in the summer. It's got all the facilities you need, and you can create wonder. Hollywood started as a studio operation. We got all very keen on location, and still Regent's very keen on location. But to actually set the rooms and get it just the way you want. I tell you, if you're on location and you say to somebody, can I move your wall? The answer is pretty always no. Can I repaint your wall? No, you can't repaint your wall. You can do anything inside the studio. So, David, come and tell us a little bit about this exciting development.
Everything he said. Any questions? Well, we are reconfiguring the film stage right now. It used to be a hotel, for those of you who are familiar with it. Well, actually, for those of you who are not. Those of you who are familiar didn't need to hear that. But used to be a hotel, and it is now turning into a pool hall for an exciting film that Sky wrote or Rachel wrote? Rachel, I'm sorry, I knew that. Has to do with bombs and terror and all that kind of stuff, but not of the ISIS sort. Just disgruntled. Well, I'm not going to give it up. Anyway, lots of mayhem and I think there's love, right? It's like a rom-com, terrorism rom-com, folks. Only at Regent. Anyway, so the set will become a pool hall, and that's where all this terror and romantic hilarity will ensue. And then after that, it's going to be reconfigured to be essentially a residential kind of a place. So there'll be a bedroom, there'll be a corridor, there'll be a living room, dining room, kitchen kind of a scenario. And even though it's a set, even though Andrew mentioned all those wonderful, exciting, flexible kinds of things like, it's soundproof. It's not really soundproof. You can hear sound from the audio. What it is sound treated so that there's not all kinds of reverberation. But it's not completely isolated. If somebody's yelling and screaming out in the main hallways, you're probably going to hear it. And as far as adjusting the lights, there's a certain amount of that you can do. You cannot move walls. You can't just go in there and start moving walls. But anyway, it's brand new for us to do this in the context of just general access. So it's going to be trial and error. But the objective here is to keep it as good as we can possibly make it. And in the past, when we had a smaller space, it's for those of you who aren't familiar with it, Com 125, once upon a time was kind of a makeshift studio, and it had one or two rooms, and students would come in and reconfigure it. But it got actually quite nightmarish. From one weekend to another, somebody might put a hole in the wall, somebody else might put some spackling. Somebody might put some spackling on the wall. You come in one week and you do your little location scout and you think, hey, the colors in here are perfect. I don't have to do a thing. And then 3 weeks later, when your shoot happens, the walls are like pink and stuff like that. So, there just has to be tighter control on it, and there will be. But we also, want to the whole point of this is to have flexibility and to be able to shoot on your schedule, not on somebody else's. And on your availability, and so that's the wonder of having a place like this, to be able to do cool stuff and not put anybody out. Is there anything else?
How would, if I wanted to shoot my student project in there, how would I book
There will be, it's going to become part of the reservation form system. Technically speaking, right now, you can request the film stage, but it'll be more formalized. For instance, one of the issues that we're going to be dealing with on a regular basis, if you want to cause terror in there like this fall film is going to have, we have to have a permit, and it has to be completely under the supervision, if you will, of the campus police. They have to be fully aware of what's going on in there, especially, you know, we got people cast in riot gear, SWAT gear that is, and you know, you've got these makeshift explosives and things like that. I mean, just don't play with that kind of stuff. Because otherwise, you have real terrorists on campus with real bombs, and you're going, oh, it must be some students shooting a film over there, and not worry about it. Yes, sir?
When's it going to be ready for us to go?
The plan is to come online in January.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Fall film happens the 3rd week in October, something like that. Yes. Okay. So after the 26th, it'll start to get retooled for the spring term. Just the way things go, it's going to take a good couple months to get it ready. Okay.
Okay, pressing on. One of the things that we're keen on is internships. You need to talk to your advisor about finding an internship, but they're good, and we have a lot of people working at CBN. We've had people working in local television stations. We've had people working in internships quite separately. The director of Gettysburg and Gods and Generals was shooting a film in Canada, and he asked one of our students to come along and view it. She ended up as the second director and directed part of his film because he fired the lead actor halfway through, and he went on shooting the second half of the film, and she went back with her iPad and directed the first half. So you never know what's going to happen. It's very exciting. Now, this summer, Adam Hardy, who's going to talk to us now, went off to Los Angeles. He's got a tale to tell. Adam. By the way, we're very proud of our alumni. We have a lot of alumni in the Los Angeles area, and they keep in touch. They're a sort of club, an insider club. So, Adam, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Professor Quick. I don't want to run over Sarah's time. How much time do I have? Anybody? Bueller?
10 minutes.
Sounds beautiful. All right. Go for 60 seconds. Here we go. Hey guys, thanks for coming. Who is a first semester MA or MFA student? Raise your hand and hold them up for a second so I can see you. Cool. Who have I never met in person in here? Could I have y'all introduce yourselves really quick? Starting with this gentleman.
My name's Owen.
Owen.
First year in MFA in producing.
Good to meet you. MFA in producing. Awesome. Hey, Hope. Thanks for being here. Good to meet you.
Sandra, MA in production.
Gonna be MFA, right? Probably. That's right. Cool. Good, Sandra. Awesome.
Claude, MA production.
Claude. Awesome.
Nathaniel, MFA director.
Awesome. Good to meet you, Nathaniel.
And Jessica Thomas, script and screenplay writer.
Awesome. That's exciting, Jessica. Way to go. Cool. I wish that I could go back 3 years to when I started my MFA and tell myself a few things. Those are the few things I'm going to share with you very quickly, and so hopefully you won't have to do the same thing as I am, which is building a time machine. So, keeping my timepiece. So, Professor Quick already spoke about internships. I'm going to mention internships, relationships, and opportunities to make stuff. Those are 3 things that you're going to have at film school that you're not going to have anywhere else. So when you're sitting in the hardest class, I don't know which one it's going to be for you. It's a different class for everybody, and everybody has that class that is like, oh man, if I can just get through this class. So when you're sitting in that class and wondering, why am I in film school right now? Why did I even come? These are the answers from me, and these are the things you can only find at film school. The first thing is internships. Professor Quick said talk to your advisor, and I do recommend that, but I only got my own internships by going out and pounding the pavement and trying to get them myself. And by talking to friends, such as my good friend Matt Gonzalez in the back. I did not know that the Television Academy had internships for 26 different categories until we were hanging out at Outback, and he said, oh, did you try applying for this internship? And I didn't even know about it. I wanted to apply for their internship in commercials. and I ended up applying and making it to the final round. Didn't get the internship, but I never would have known about it and wouldn't have had the opportunity to apply in the last 5 days before the deadline if Matt hadn't told me. So that's important to talk to your fellow colleagues, but here's what's more important when it comes to film school. If I had not still been a full-time student, they would not have taken my application. I really wanted an internship in LA. You might want an internship elsewhere, here, New York, Atlanta, etc. The majority of internships in Los Angeles require you to be a full-time student in order to get them. If I had only known that 3 years ago, I would have gotten an internship every summer, but I didn't know. So what I did, actually, was instead of finishing my degree in 2 years, I drag out my last few classes so that I could be a student for a third year, so that I could intern this summer. That's what I had to do in order to get an internship, was slow down my degree. So I would recommend whatever you have to do, even if it means dragging out your degree a little longer, it is worth it to get internships or to have the opportunity to apply to internships. I ended up having the blessing to intern at CBS in Los Angeles this summer. That was really awesome. It was not at all what I expected. It wasn't in an area of television that I thought I was interested in. It wasn't like creative like I want to do, but it was worth it to be there and just to learn from the people around me. And that's something, this isn't like on the checklist of what I'm talking about, but you have to pull out of your experience in film school what's around you. Whatever it is, don't wait for someone else to tell you, like, this is what you're getting out of this. We have fantastic, amazing professors here, and they give you the PowerPoints and everything that you take the notes. But it's the students who I've seen excel in my time here are the ones who go above and beyond, who go back to their professors, who send emails, ask questions, who show their work to their students and ask for them to tell them what's wrong with it without fear of being emotionally hurt. I get it, I'm an artist. It's not fun to be told that your script or your film, has weaknesses, but it is what has made me better. And going to my professors and having professors who don't beat around the bush, but who tell me this is what you need to do better, is what has equipped me to the level of being able to survive a summer in Los Angeles. So take advantage of that too. Side note, that one was for free. So the last word on internships is take advantage of being in film school, because you'll only have the opportunity for probably 70% of them while you're, at least in LA, while you are a student. And go after them hard. Like, there's going to be the big ones that you really want. And I applied for a lot of big ones. I never even heard back from a single one of them. I got the CBS internship ended up being like an after-the-fact thing even. I was a finalist for Television Academy, didn't end up making it. So the only internship I ended up getting was not even a full-time internship, and it wasn't a paid internship. It was to read scripts and write what's called coverage, synopsis, and comments on the scripts for a film finance company. And they wanted me to do that during the week and then come in once a week for an hour for their script meeting and give them my thoughts. And that was the whole internship. So it was like 2 hours a week, plus like 20 hours of my own time reading scripts. And that wasn't the face time that I wanted. That wasn't getting in front of people, getting my name out there, getting opportunities for jobs. It wasn't anything that I wanted, but that was the one that offered me the internship. And so I took it. And in fact, they at first turned me down. I interviewed with them and they said, sorry, you're not the candidate we're choosing. And I said, okay, totally understand. A couple weeks later, I sent a follow-up email just to say, hey, just wanted to make sure that you are good, that you got the interns you needed and you're set for the summer. And he said he thought they were good. Then a couple weeks later, I just happened to follow up again saying, yeah, we're going to be out in LA this summer. I just wanted to make sure things are good. And he emailed back and said, okay, we don't have space for another intern in the office, but you could write script coverage from your house and then just come in for the meeting during the week if you want. And that's how I got that internship. The internship that I didn't even think I wanted, but was the only thing I could get. So go after several internships and respectfully follow up and do whatever you can. Yeah, I was just trying to get as many as I could because I only had one summer left to do it before I was no longer a student. you have 2 or 3 or whatever it is. So take advantage of that. Okay. The second thing, when you get out of here, you're going to have your degree. That is why you think you are here, and it is very essential. But the thing that has gotten me work since I've finished up my degree has not been the MFA on my resume. That's huge, but it's been the people who are sitting next to me in my MFA classes. So look around you. People have probably already told you this, but like these are your colleagues, and don't underestimate how important your relationships in film school are. Because once you get out into the business, guess what's still important? Your relationships. So you may not find, I'm stopping here because it's important that I say exactly what I mean. When I was where you are, I was thinking about getting my homework done, okay? I was really focused on fulfilling my assignments and getting stuff done and then hanging out with friends and eating ice cream. So I wasn't thinking about 3 or 4 years down the road when I wouldn't be thinking about homework anymore, and when I wouldn't be thinking about, all I'd be thinking about is, man, I really need a paycheck right now, and I would really love for it to be anything to do with creativity in film. So I guess what I'm telling you when it comes to relationships, you will have fruit during your time in school, lots of wonderful memories, lots of great experiences and friendships, but I guess the weight of it will hit you after school. And you don't know that because you're not after school yet. So take advantage of that now and take my word for it because it's worth it. I think you'll hear that from many, many more people if you haven't already heard it from your professors. So internships, relationships, and the last thing is opportunities to make stuff. I don't think you'll ever have as many opportunities to make stuff as you do now, whether that's scripts because you have professors and colleagues encouraging you to shell out stuff while you're here and you have time to dedicate. I don't know if it's all your time, but a lot of time to dedicate to it. You may not have that time again. For those of you who are producers or directors or filmmakers in production, you won't. It's not easy now. When I was in film school, I didn't have any more money than I do now to make anything. Like, I'm not saying it was super easy in film school, but what you do have is 20 people sitting in this room who are interested in the same thing. And you have 30 people across the hall who are all studying acting. It's never going to be easier than it is now to find actors and find creatives to collaborate with. I'm not saying it's easy, because it's not. And the people who take the initiative are the ones who will be able to really glean from that. Regent does us the favor of sending out emails, and we have a production, and we're looking for crew. Those are all good, but saying, hey, could you send out my crew list? To me, does not count as taking the initiative. But making the relationships, meeting people, hey, what are you interested in? Hey, can I help you with anything? Can I work on your set? And then when it's time for your set, you can say, hey, I'm working on this. Would you like to help? That's taking the initiative. Actively being out there, it's a big deal. Caveat, balance is important. It may sound like I'm encouraging you to do everything ever, and that's almost impossible to do in my experience. So balance, health, sleep, these are all good things. I'm just saying these ought to be your priorities over the next year or two while you have the opportunity to be surrounded by all these endless opportunities. Okay, so internships, relationships, which is especially as it affects future work together. Opportunities to make stuff because you're in a creative environment with creatives everywhere just dying to make good stuff, dying and trying. And then the last thing is, I think I might have already said it, but it requires its own point, is take the initiative in your education. This isn't just for the sake of your GPA. This isn't just for the sake of your professors. But bring them apples, because they appreciate a good teacher's pet. Just kidding. It's not just, but taking the initiative, going beyond what your professors ask of you in your writing or in your projects will further you as a student, will further your career, your reel. It will encourage your professors because they see that you are not doing the bare minimum to get by. I mean, it just will take you, you are all here because you are dying to make stuff and you want to create and because you're passionate about making movies. And so I'm not really telling you anything you don't already know. But going after what you really want to do, and when you can, when it's not going to sacrifice your health or your sleep or whatever, going the extra mile beyond what is asked of you. That is when I really learned in film school. It was one more conversation, it was one more meeting with the professor, or it was one more asking for critiques on my script in exchange for critiquing someone else's. That's where I've grown. So I encourage you to take the initiative, because right now it's easier to find people who are interested in the same stuff, or maybe are studying screenwriting, or have some level of skill to give you those critiques. So, all right, that's it. That's really all I have to say.